Hey guys, welcome back for another video. What we're going to be doing today is we'll be doing an in-depth breakdown and predictions for all of our 4 divisional rounds we have coming up for the 24-25 NFL playoffs. The first week of the playoffs is in the book. We got through the wildcard games. There was a lot of upsets this past weekend, so you want to make sure to take all of these games seriously. Nothing is for certain. Anything can happen in the playoffs. The season completely resets. It is up for grabs right now, but we have some really good matchups coming up. We are going to be predicting the outcome, who's going to win, who's going to lose, and what the final score will be. First things first, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments about these games or anything else, please drop it below and I will respond to every single one of them. This entire season, since the beginning till now, we've gone over every single game. We've broken them all down. We've done the best bets, the money lines, the spreads, the over-unders. We will continue doing that every game up to the Super Bowl and the offseason, and we're also doing it for every college football game the entire season. We have the national championship also coming up this coming Monday. There's a lot going on in the world of football, a lot going on in the world of sports, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And this is it. The season is almost over. Regular season's over. Playoffs are happening, and we know the NFL playoffs are great. But let's go ahead and get started looking at these games. We have 2 Saturday ones. We have 2 Sunday ones. The very first one we have kicking things off on Saturday is one of our AFC Divisional playoff games. This game is going to be on ESPN January 18th at 4:30 p.m. The 10-7 Houston Texans. What a game they had. They completely upset the LA Chargers, the number 1 defense in all of the NFL. They were scoring on them at will. They are down a lot of their weapons. Dell's out. Diggs out. You wouldn't even know it from what happened this past weekend. They curb stomped the Chargers. The Chargers defense was great, but it was the Texans who were all over them, led by Anderson Jr., Hunter. Singletary Jr. had 2 picks off of Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert had 3 picks the entire season. He had 3 picks this past week. Showed you just how high the Texans' ceiling is. They had no momentum when the regular season ended, but when the season reset in the playoffs, they came out of the gate. They were ready to play. They'll be playing the defending Super Bowl champions, one of the teams that you don't want to have to be facing in the playoffs. They are built for a playoff run. That is the 15-2 Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City, fully rested all of their starters week 18. They will be healthy here. They are getting Hollywood Brown back. Don't underestimate how important that is. That's a guy that can vertically stretch the field. When you have a deep threat, that opens the underneath passes up. That helps the running game because you pull those safeties back, and that gives you those under routes. This can be a completely different team. We know they are veterans. We know they are experienced. Patrick Mahomes, they play their best football in the playoffs. Right now, they have a 62.4% chance to win this game. They are 7.5-point favorites. The over-under here is 41.5. When you're looking at the Texans, obviously they are going to be led by Stroud. They didn't have the offensive season they had last season, but don't forget, like I mentioned, they're down Dell, they're down Diggs. They got Nico Collins back. Nico Collins missed 3 or 4 games, still had a great overall season. When he's playing, he's a top 5, top 3 wide receiver. Right now, Stroud, 3,800 yards, 20 passing touchdowns, 12 picks. They're averaging 21.9 points a game. Throwing for 207.4, running for 112.3, giving up 21.9 points a game. They have an average defense, but they had a great defense this past week. They came to play, but the thing is, Kansas City saw that. They know what to expect from the Texans now. They're going to be taking them serious. You're not going to catch Kansas City. You're not going to catch Andy Reid's team sleeping on the Texans like the Chargers got caught sleeping. Looking at Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, really questionable first half of the season. A lot of turnovers, but they turned it on second half. They are going into the playoffs right now with some momentum, and they're fully rested. He had 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 11 picks. They're averaging 22.6. They're throwing for 222.4. They're running for 105.3, but it's that defense giving up 19.2 points per game, giving up 101.8 on the ground. That's the standout number. The reason that I say that is a top 5 rush defense in the NFL right now. Their goal, shut down the Texans' run game, force them into 3rd and long situations, keep Stroud in the pocket. He was scrambling up and down the field. You haven't seen Stroud run like that basically since the College Bowl game versus Georgia. The Chiefs are going to be prepared for that. Chris Jones is going to be prepared for that. And we know Kansas City has a very, very aggressive defensive front 7. Looking at the playmakers for Houston, they have Stroud, they have Mixon, they have Collins. And Kansas City, Hunt, Pacheco, Kelsey, they have Hollywood Brown. They have the weapons now, and they're healthy. So the outcome to this game, Texans might keep it close first half, but the Chiefs and their defense should lead the way second half. We have Kansas City winning this one 27-20. In the second Saturday game we have on Fox at 8 p.m. January 18th, the 12-5 Washington Commanders. What a performance from Jaden Daniels versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was slinging the ball. He was running the ball. He showed what the ceiling to the Commanders can be. The massive turnaround they've had in one season. Props to him. Props to the coaching staff. What they did in 1 year is remarkable. Completely turned this team around. Quinn, Daniels, Bobby Wagner. This team has come a long way. They had a great run here. They won their first playoff game since 2005. And it's a shame because now they have to play the number 1 seed Detroit Lions, the number 1 offense in the NFL. So that run could very well come to an end here. The Lions, 15-2, curb stomping people on offense the entire season. They have a 72.2% chance to win this game. They are 8.5-point favorites. The over here is 55.5. The big news for the Lions, they might have Montgomery back. They'll have Montgomery, Gibbs, one of the best 1-2 running back punches in the nation. And they have Goff closing in on almost 5,000 yards. They can throw it. They can run it. They have the offense. They have a banged-up defense, but we know how high their ceiling can be on the defensive side. Maybe they'll get some other starters back throughout the postseason. Right now, for the Commanders, Jaden Daniels, he's probably going to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year this season. He has 3,600 yards, 25 passing touchdowns, 9 picks. He also has 6 rushing touchdowns. He's the team leading rusher. He's a guy who has stepped up massively to fill the void at quarterback, leading this team to the playoffs. They have a top 7 overall offense. They average 28.5 points a game. They're throwing for 215.6. They're running for 154.1. They're giving up 23 points on the defensive side. And for the Lions, Goff, just under 4,700 passing yards. Completely picked things up where he left off last season. 37 touchdowns, 12 picks. The number 1 overall offense, they average 33.2. They're throwing for 263.2. One of the best passing teams in the NFL, running for 146.4. Very balanced on offense. They throw it, they run it. The run game always will assist with that play action, and they're giving up 20.1 points a game, which is technically a top 10 defense, even with all of the injuries on the defensive side, and they're only giving up 98.4 rush yards. Also a top 5 rush defense. This is a team, they're going to try to put a lot of pressure on Jaden Daniels, force him into 3rd and longs, but when you have a guy with wheels like that, he's second only to Lamar Jackson on the ground this season. He's definitely going to test the Lions' strength on that defensive front. Is strength on strength. Will the Lions be able to bottle up Jaden Daniels? That's the massive question here, and it's obviously easier said than done. Looking at the playmakers for Washington, Jaden Daniels 9 yards shy of 900 yards rushing. They need to get the run game going as a whole, though. He can't be the leading rusher for this team to succeed, especially when it comes to the teams they'll be playing in the playoffs. They got to get Brian Robinson going, and they also have Scary Terry just 4 yards shy of 1,100. And looking at the lines, their offense is loaded. Goff at 4,700 yards. Gibbs, Montgomery, St. Brown, weapons at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Yes, they did sit this past week. They were the number 1 seed. They had the bye week here. Maybe they'll be a little rusty out the gate. So for Washington to succeed, they want to get an early lead on them, force the Lions to be playing catch-up, but that's going to be easier said than done. This is an offense that scores practically almost every single possession. The outcome to this game, we have the Detroit Lions ending Washington's playoff streak. They win this one 31-21 and move on to the next round. And we're now going to be moving on to our 2 Sunday games. The very first one we have that's going to be kicking things off is our Sunday matchup that's going to be on NBC January 19th at 3 p.m. Our NFC Divisional round, the 10-7 LA Rams. What a performance that was last night versus the Minnesota Vikings. They completely dominated that game on both sides of the ball, on the scrimmage, in the trenches. It showed what the Rams were capable of the entire season. I've been saying the whole season, do not judge the Rams by their record. They had a lot of injuries first half. They were down Nakua. They were down Cooper Kupp. They were down Williams. When this offense has all of their playmakers, one of the best offensive rosters in the NFL, they can run it. They have the veteran, experienced quarterback, and they have an elite wide receiver core. But they're going to be playing the 14-3 Philadelphia Eagles, one of the best offenses in the NFL, one of the best defenses in the NFL, the number 2 rushing team in the NFL. When you can run the ball, you play keep away, you control the clock, you control time of possession. Right now, the Eagles 65.4% chance to win this game. They are 6-point favorites. The over in here is 43.5. The Eagles, they need to get a better performance out of Jalen Hurts. He did not look his best the wild card game, but obviously he hadn't played in like 3 or 4 weeks, so he was obviously very rusty. He's got to get the wheels going on the ground. They want to dominate physically. They want to control the line of scrimmage. They want to win the trenches. They want to control that line of scrimmage. They want to run down your throat. You might be able to control it first half, but by the third and fourth quarter, that's when you start to get wore down. That's when you start to give up massive yardage on the ground. Running the ball then opens up the play action deep shots to Smith, Brown. That's when they can run the score up on you. Looking at this team, obviously, for the Rams, they're going to be led by Matt Stafford, 3,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 picks, and on the other side, you have Hurts. He hasn't played in a little while, but still 2,900 yards. He has 19 passing touchdowns. He has 13 rushing touchdowns. It is a very physical team. You're going to get a lot of quarterback design runs here. The Rams defense better be prepared for this one. This is going to be a completely different offense than they faced versus the Vikings. They were able to shut down the Vikings. The Vikings can throw the ball, but what separates the Eagles is they keep this game on the ground. We're going to have to see the Rams defense adapt from the wild card round to the divisional round. Can they keep that high octane performance? Can they keep that momentum going? Right now for the Rams, averaging 21.6 points a game, throwing for 227.5, running for 103.8, giving up 22.7 points a game. They have some holes on defense, but they showed in the big game for one-game pieces they can get up, they can control it. And for the Eagles, they have a top 8 offense. They average 27.2 points a game. They throw for 187.9. They run for 179.3, which is number 2 in the NFL, second only to the Baltimore Ravens. Just slightly secondary, but they're only giving up 17.8 points a game. Finishing the regular season, that was the number 3 defense in the NFL. They are going to come after you. They have a very good secondary, only giving up 174 passing yards per game. Obviously, the Rams, they want to throw the ball. They want to run the ball. It's going to be hard to throw on the Eagles. So what's going to make the difference here is if the Rams can move the ball on the ground, that could potentially deliver them the game. Look at the playmakers for the Rams. They are loaded on offense. Stafford, Williams, Nakua, Cooper Kupp, Atwell, playmakers up and down this field. They have the offense there. Will their defense be able to stop the Eagles from sucking up clock running the ball? It's going to be put on the defensive line of scrimmage. And for the Eagles, Barkley, 2,005 yards, didn't even play the last game, almost broke the rushing yardage record. They have Brown, they have Smith, they have too many weapons, but Hurts, you're going to have to play a clean game here. If you go back to 2023 Hurts, and there's turnovers here, the Rams are going to turn those turnovers into points. We need to see a clean game. Just let the defense dictate the pace of it. Run the ball, play defense, and you will win this one. We have the Eagles pulling away with the win here, 27-21, and moving on to the next round. And our final game of the divisional round is going to be an AFC matchup. This is the game of the weekend. This might be the best game of the entire season so far. This game is going to be 6:30 p.m. January 19th on CBS. The 12-5 Baltimore Ravens, who are coming off of completely just destroying the Steelers for the second time this season. They played against a great defense. Lamar Jackson, he showed you why he's probably going to win the MVP, his third overall MVP. This guy's lighting it up on the air, lighting it up on the ground. One of the best NFL quarterback seasons we've ever seen in NFL history. They're going to be playing against the 13-4 Buffalo Bills. I had Josh Allen winning the MVP up to the point that he took one snap week 18. I don't have a problem with him taking one snap, but it's just the fact that he didn't play that game. Since Lamar Jackson played one more game than him, to me, that gives him the edge. But we are going to see two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL facing off. Really doesn't matter who wins the MVP. They want to win this game. They want to win the Super Bowl. This is two teams built and capable of winning the Super Bowl this season. It sucks they got to play one another this early in the playoffs, but whoever wins this game could potentially be the front runner in the NFL to win the Super Bowl. Right now, this game is as much a 50-50 game as it gets. By the fan vote, it is 50-50. Baltimore, 50% chance to win this game. Buffalo, 50% chance to win this game. Baltimore's a 1-point favorite. The over here is 51.5. This game is basically a pick'em. It's a 50 matchup. Flip a coin. That's who's going to win this game. It's two of the best offenses, two of the best defenses, two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL facing off with ridiculous passing stats. Right now for Lamar Jackson, 4,172 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, only 4 picks, and he also has 4 rushing touchdowns to add to that, 45 overall touchdowns. Video game numbers the entire season. Think of that. 41 passing touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. Crazy stuff. And then when you look at Josh Allen, he's had a great season himself. Right now, he's closing in on 3,800 yards, 28 touchdowns, 8 picks. He has 13 rushing touchdowns, 41 overall touchdowns. Didn't even play Week 18, or he would probably be at 45 himself as well. This is 2 really good offenses. They can both throw the ball. They can both run the ball. Looking at the Baltimore Ravens, they have the number 3 offense in the NFL. They average 30.5 points a game. They're throwing for 237.4. They're running for 187.6. That is the number 1 rush team in the NFL, and they only give up 21.2. First half of the season, they were giving up 26. Second half of the season, they actually statistically had the number 1 points per game defense in the NFL. Completely dropped that number down. They've been dominating. They play time of possession. They run the ball. They keep the ball out of the offense's hands. Will they be able to keep the ball out of the Bills' offense's hands? And they have the number one rush defense in the NFL, only giving up 80.1 yards on the ground. We know Buffalo can run the ball. They have Cook. They have Josh Allen scrambling. Will they be able to keep Josh Allen from scrambling for those first downs on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 situations? And for Buffalo, they have the number 2 offense in the NFL, just barely above the Ravens. They average 30.9. They throw for 227.9. They run for 131.2, very balanced, and they are also giving up 21.6 points per game. This game, these teams are practically even. It's a 50-50 matchup. It's really hard to pick this one. It is so hard to pick this game. This game will go down to the 4th quarter, will go down to the final possession, and it's hard to know who's going to have the ball last. We won't know that till we're actually watching this game Sunday. The playmakers for the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, 4,200 yards. He also has 900 yards on the ground. You have Derrick Henry, 79 yards shy of 2,000 yards rushing. This 1-2 combo, that's as good as it gets running the ball, potentially in NFL history right now. And then for the playmakers, Flowers has been banged up. Bateman, Andrews, likely a very, very deep wide receiver core, a very deep receiving core, one of the best offensive rosters. And for Buffalo, they have Josh Allen. They have Cook, 16 rushing touchdowns throughout the regular season. Shakir, Coleman, Cooper. They don't have as many offensive weapons as the Ravens, but as a whole, a very talented group. This is a tough one, guys. This is a really tough one. Like I said, zero confidence in this game because it will go down to that final possession, and we just don't know who's going to have it. As of right now, though, pick could change later this week, but as of right now, once we get more injury news, I have Baltimore having the ball last, winning this one 33-27. But it's going to be fun. As a football fan, not having an interest in this game, I'm just glad to watch some great football. This is going to be the best game of the season so far. Guys, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, whether you agree, disagree, please drop them below. And I also set up my Twitter channel. The link is in the description. Make sure to go there and check it out. Drop some comments. Guys, thanks for watching and have a good one.